There's your disclaimer. What up? So, what do we have going on here? A lot of crazy action. ES is down to 42.30 after a 50-point sell-off here overnight. So pretty hefty. After we actually gapped up yesterday at the open 10 points and then chopped, and then right when about London open, bam, there down we go, 50 points. And we've recovered about a third of that, and bonds sold off aggressively and have recovered most of their sell-off, which was saving the market here. Yields are skyrocketing. In fact, for the first time since I can remember, at least, all three of the 2, 10, 30 are all over 5%, or at least they were. Now they dropped off a little bit, but they were all over 5%. So at one point, my PDS was healthily green. Now it's still green, nicely green, but man, I was cooking into some profits there for a minute. So it'll be an interesting morning. Today, we don't have any catalysts. We don't really have any earnings reports coming out today to speak of. So there's not much going on in the world of catalysts today. In terms of IV, we're at about 21%, which is pretty low. Nope, I'm sorry. That's I was looking at Friday premiums. Bear with me. Let me get back on. All right, we have 30% IV with $14 premiums. So that is still quite elevated. Much, much more elevated than the beginning of last week. In terms of liquidity, we have shifting liquidity pretty much all throughout the land here. We've got 42.40 up top, which is the main liquidity, 380. We have an iceberg there, and then 42.10 and 4200 way down south with about a 1600. So mine did reset good at 1800 negative right here. On the daily chart, we have a bit of a ways to go before we hit the next big resistance. We do have a pivot that's hanging out at 42.35 that we have since wiped. In fact, we're retesting it now. This is the support resistance retest as we speak right now, 42.35. And that would be October 2nd's or October 4th's bounce. So we fell right through it down to 42.14. We bounced. Now we're doing the support resistance test right here. If we were to fail, now we're going to transact even lower. And this is where we're going to test 4200. 4200 is the big support here on ES. We've already blown through one major pivot. Now we're coming up on the second already, and it's not even 10 o'clock. Interesting. So, geopolitical tensions are increasing in the Middle East, and something we need to be aware of. There's a little bit more red here. Top wick, 42.29. Let's take a look around the market. We have all red X's. Every single X sector, including the home buyers, are all red. Now, they're not crazy red. Energy and XLU are pretty heavily red. XLRE is pretty heavily red, but everything else is not that crazy red. 0.4, 0.18, 0.16, 0.15, that type. 0.5, that type of thing. The top 10 is pretty red as well. Tesla's down 1.75. It's in danger of breaching into the 100s. Microsoft is big green after a rocket ship of an opening candle. Meta also. Apple is 1.23 red percent. So, is there a YouTube link? There is, yes. There is. It is public, so you should be able to see it on the YouTube channel, but let me go grab it for you. Yeah, we have a lot of tech this week. We also have banks, a couple of Visa, MasterCard, all reporting this week as well, in addition to all the big tech stocks. There's your YouTube. I'll put that in the stream analysis as well. There you go. Posted. And then, of course, we're going to roll over here to the GEX data and see what's posting up there. Tesla is getting smoked again. Yeah, is getting smoked. All right. There we go. All right. Subscribe to Spot Gamma. I find the founders note really helpful. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, like I said, it's good information. Good information. All right, so what do we have here in terms of the options chain data? Let's go to today, which is October 23rd. We have a lot of mixed bag here. A lot of data down to 421 and up to 435. So we have negative GEX at 426, 429, 432 with the biggest delta or the biggest positive at 435. So we have exposure painted all throughout the options chain today for today's expiration. Let's go over the deltas as well. And it's painting pretty much the same picture. Overall, we're in about a balanced options chain today. So we're not really in heavy negative. In fact, the skew for the GEX environment flips back and forth positive and negative like 5 times. So we're not really that skewed in terms of a data. It's pretty balanced today. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? They are putting on 4250. TLT is coming off here. Another red candle on TLT. Let's see what they do there. NASDAQ is putting on a pretty decent red candle as we speak, about a 50-point red candle. Now, I will tell you all, VIX is over 22, and it did spike over 23, and with the premiums this high. When the volatility gets like this, where the premiums are very high, the VIX is very high, you have to start looking at these candles a little bit differently, because it's very common to have 10 and 15-point candles, whereas normally we're used to like 3 and 4-point candles, 2-point candles. So you have to skew your charts, you have to cage your charts a little bit differently, because the setup looks different. It looks different. You need to be aware of that. So you've got 42.27 here on ES, creeping off. Let's take a look at the yields. The 2-year is up 0.77% to 5.11. The 10-year is up 1.18 to 4.97. And the 30-year is up 0.94 to 5.13. Very interesting. TLT did put in yet another 52-week low in pre-market before bouncing up. It got down to 81.90 before coming up to 83, back up to 83. So a good bounce to save the bonds there, as the volume continues to spike on the bond market. So there's still so much activity in the bond market. Coming back off, red candles. There you go. Thanks, Kit. 42.25. My PDS is up healthily now. It's still dropping nicely, which I like. The lower this thing goes, the more money I make. The great thing about a PDS is that you don't see major whipsaws in your P&L, especially as the short leg starts to eat. You really start to pick up your P&L, and it's really nice. Not like a normal put, so that's why I like to do a PDS on this. In hindsight, I should have done a PDS last week and a straight put this week, but hey, that's how trading goes, isn't it? What's up, Tracy? Tracy, welcome, welcome. 42.23 coming down, and bonds are starting to come off again. XLF is 32, Microsoft on back down, Amazon is down, Apple down, and VIX is 22.22 and climbing. So I need to take a call real quick. Y'all give me a couple of minutes here. I'll be right back. I don't even think I'm connected anymore. What is this? Stupid technology. What is this dang thing? All right, here we go. What's happening? All right, sorry about that. I had to take a call. All right, 42.20. We had a nice little drop there. What about a 15-point drop? And then back to 42.20. Nice. What do I make of the 414 GEX? Let me take a look. So they are, in terms of liquidity here, all right, I'm back on stream as well. All right, 42.50 up top, and then 42.10 on the bottom. Those are the two main levels. Now let me kick over here. We are about to hit the top of the hour, on which I'll look for the another shifting into GEX. Let's see, expiration filter. They are building down into 414 and 419 at the moment, which is quite interesting. The negative GEX down there obviously is going to be a bit of a magnet. We just took out pre-market lows again, and ES came down to 42.13. Now I will say the 4200 is going to be a big obstacle, an obstacle for the sellers. I would expect the buyers to defend that level pretty heavily. And if they don't, then we'll know just how strong these sellers actually are. It's going to be substantial. There goes TLT, 82.65. Apple's climbing up there, a little bottom wick. XLF is not really moving. They're kind of shaking and baking. Let's take a look. That is also off of S1. So we rejected R1, came on down to S1 here on the SR levels. But there's a lot of pull lower. Now, if we go to the aggregate, we have levels on down as well to the 410 and 400 level. The main level for the next expiration is 400. Because the big open interest, that's a big old pop right there. The big open interest levels across the market, they shift from OPEX to OPEX. And the next OPEX, which obviously is in October because or November because we just finished October's, is 400. Man, big old pop right there. 12 points. Coming up to 42.40. My PDS is doing quite well. Quite well. I will take it. Did I take the move down off 419? I did not. I haven't taken a trade this morning. I'm still holding my play from Friday. Man, look at this. Holy crap. This thing's a bounce. They just absorbed about 1,200 orders there about to on icebergs, and they're going to come all the way back up on this right when I come back on stream. See, that's what it was. I had to get off the stream, dump it, and I come back on, big green. Does it every time. Every time. All right, coming up here, 42.30 and climbing. Bonds are coming back up as well. XLF rocketing. Tech is absolutely rocketing right now. Microsoft. VIX came down to 21.82. Man, what a freaking move that was. Yep, and that's the second highest green volume of the day. Second highest volume of the day overall. And coming back up, 42.32. They just scammed so many people waiting for that breakout. Yeah. Well, the IV is high. VIX is high. There's going to be a lot of volatility. Now, they are doing everything they can to turn this into a green Monday, that's for sure. There's been a lot of buy-ups. We've pretty much been back and forth in this range since 0.500. All right, a little bit of green here. PDS is a put debit spread, yes. It is a bearish position where you long a put and then you short a put that's further out of the money. It's the opposite of a credit spread. According to Spot Gamma, there's a put wall at 420. That would make it interesting, yeah. So right here at 42.30, we've got this liquidity shift up to 42.50. Now, if we were to grab that liquidity, 42.50 would bring us up to, obviously we would be green for the day, and then bring us almost up to that consolidation we had from settlement open until 2 in the morning. And if you go back and look, the market was incredibly flat from settlement open until 2 o'clock in the morning. Just absolutely flat. I'm talking like 3-point range. And then London open, and then down we go. And it's been pretty volatile since. So 42.30 right here. XLF is still hanging out, waiting for them to kind of pick a move. If XLF can pick a move, we might be able to take a little bit of a breather here and put on a position. Let's take a look at the options, see if I can get something. 400 is the main pull into November OPEX. I said that again because I want to make sure that you understand that. Now, what I'm seeing here in terms of the options flow, again, not something I typically use, is put selling. No call activity, but put selling on this large drop down. If today is green, that'll make 17 out of 17 of the last Monday's green. Yeah. What's the best way to do a PDS on a small account? SPY or XSP or any other small name? Yeah. So TLT, the bonds are rocketing 83 and just launching. Absolutely launching. We've got 14,610 on NASDAQ here. I would not recommend XSP bad fills. Yeah, that's the liquidity. That's the problem with that, is you have bad liquidity. It's a give and take. Yeah, it's super low cost, and it enables you for small accounts to trade that kind of stuff. But at the same time, yeah, the spreads are going to be wonky, and the fills are going to be terrible. All right, 42.40 and 42.50. TLT just rallied back up to 83 again. So the plunge protection team is very strong right now. Very strong right now. Double bottom setup was nice. I got right into the right pre-market low. Nice trade. Nice. Well done, Ryzen. Vanna rally or no? Well, you need to see the volatility come off in order for it to be a Vanna rally. Obviously, we can have other type of rally, short squeeze driven, simply institutional buying, that type of thing. But if you're looking for a specific Vanna rally, you need IV and volatility itself to start really getting smoked. If that happens, premiums will come off, deltas will roll, and dealers will start buying everything. Now, there's a decent argument today for an upside with what I'm seeing. Not necessarily this whole week, but today there's a whole bunch of exposure higher and not very much lower. We do have a little down to 414, 419, but a substantial amount of the exposure is higher on this chart. Not to mention if you're looking at Bookmap, they just trimmed everything down here and they're still stacking 40 and 50. Higher and higher. Looking at this baby, premiums 10 points out. We're looking at $10. Now, puts are higher priced than calls at the moment. And I've watched my PDS oscillate all over the place. Got everyone bearish by pre-market first couple of mids. Now, this is Monday. Remember, the first half session of the week, which is Monday morning, that is going to be a lot. You know, if there's going to be a session throughout the entire week, that's going to be counterintuitive to what's being presented in terms of analysis. It's going to be the first half session of Monday, because that's when the market opens for the week after the weekend. Any kind of positioning for the weekend is changed or rolled off. Any kind of a movement the profits are taking, they have a lot of crazy behavior in the first half of Monday. That's why I typically don't like to form a bit of a bias until the first hour or so of Monday is out of the way. And obviously, we're seeing a lot of crazy behavior. We have a big drop down, big buy up, right back inside the consolidation we've been in since about 7 in the morning. Crazy stuff. A little bit more green coming up here. So we'll see. 42.30. VIX is still rolling off 21.50. Apple's up. Microsoft is up. XLF is climbing up top. And we are starting to see a little bit of green coming into the top 10 X's. They were all 10 out of 10 red. Now 7 out of 10 red. So the green is starting to kind of creep in here. Playing the 421419 channel. There you go. We have 4240. Big green coming up. Let's see if we get to eat. Yeah. Climbing. Climbing. All right, 4241. We just broke macro up there. In that 4240, looks like they want 4250 all over it. And for NASDAQ, that right there is a 150-point move up already. It went from 515, about 130 points, to 645. It's about a 130-point move there in 3 candles. Absurd. ES put on 30 points. Pre-market highs up into 4261, so that'd be another 20 points from here. It's crazy stuff. Seems like today has to go neutral and consolidate a while before the break of 421. Yep. Well, we've had some pretty crazy stuff. They defied overnight low, and short cover has also helped this move. Yeah, the defending overnight low was crucial. Now the big wipe down from London Open wiped out a lot of lower support, and then of course we just bounced and retested. So if you look at the S&P contracts and go down and go out to the daily chart and go all the way back to the springtime, you see that as we get closer to that 4200 test, there's going to be a lot of defense there. Now, the 42 area is crucial. Obviously, we got down to 4215, which is about 15 points off of that, and that's where they decided to bounce it. And now this is 2 significant bounces off of that 4200 level. Then today we got down to 4213. So the buyers are going to defend there, and how substantial that is will determine how strong the actual move is. Where can I find the GEX on spot gamma? It's been a while since I've looked at the data, but if you go on to their dashboard and click on the SPX contracts or SPY, depending on what you want, you can scroll down and you'll see it. They have the gamma strike, GEX strikes, all that stuff. 4240 looks like they want every bit. Now they're putting on 4260, so this is starting to look a little crazy. Bonds are going nuts too, 4084. The calls are starting to pick up in terms of buying on the flow. Options. Do you think it's too late to enter a PDS for Friday? No, I mean, I'm nearing back to break even after being pretty dang green on it. I'm still green on it, but it's coming back to break even. So, I mean, I'm still going to hold mine. Let's see. Exposure into Friday. Now the GEX, the deltas into Friday are severely green, which we know what that means. And they're green down to 411 for Friday. So there's a lot of pull lower going into the end of the week. What kind of jump could TLT see if we have a flight to safety? I'll put it this way. There would be a lot of people saying whoa. A lot of LFGs, a lot of woes. It'll be substantial. All right, we're coming up here to 4241. XLF is bouncing back up. That would be the biggest LFG. There you go. $42.42, a nice little pop there. It's about a 30-point move on ES after a strong dump down. Yeah, I saw that. China sent a lot of warships to the Middle East. We sent, obviously, we've got our two main carriers, not to mention other personnel, and they put our missile defense system on high alert. And then Israel said that they're preparing for a invasion. And obviously today they had airspace breached by aircraft. A lot of crazy stuff. All right, 4240. It would be the biggest Mexican pizza. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 4238. VIX is down to 2139. Still waiting here. We got top of the hour right now. Microsoft is back and forth. Huge swings in Microsoft. Vladimir Putin suffers cardiac arrest. No way. Sunday evening. He was lying on the floor rolling his eyes. So, what's mean is that he's probably dead. They're going to claim he's fine and put in a clone. Convulsively arched while lying on the floor rolling his eyes. Interesting. What would happen with you if stuff would go down the gutter? I don't know. If it's just a regional conflict, then it would be business as normal for us in my line of work. If we were getting into a global conflict, something that we haven't seen in obviously 70, 80 years, then who knows? That would be new to me. Most likely, I'd get activated into a larger status as well as everyone else in the military, and we would have to put our shenanigans here on hold. As much as I love y'all, I did sign the dotted line, and I have military obligations. No trading while flying missions? No. No. As much as I'd like to. All right, 4240. This is where we consolidated between, 2:30 and about 4 o'clock in the morning Central Time. I hope it doesn't come to that. Not just for my sake, but for everyone over there. $42.40. We'll get you Starlink. Yeah, you'd have to be listening to Mrs. OM. All right. $42.40. Does she have an NPR voice and dad jokes? I don't think so. No. All right, so take a look at here at SPY 420. We're kind of waiting for this area. They do have liquidity up to 60, and I'm about ready to start putting on some trades for the day. I can't get your YouTube intro out of my head. Oh, the spooky music. Did you miss something this morning? No. No. Do you see any end to this conflict anytime soon? No, I do not. No, I do not. I think I've got a lot of tinfoil hat theories, but knowing what I know, I think this is all connected. It's all connected. Right, Russia, I almost said Rhina. Russia, China, now Israel, Hamas. It's all connected. It's all to keep turning the war machine. 42.50. We've got Amazon just put a new high in. Apple's new high. Tech is quite strong. And we're only 6 points away from going back to green after being 50 points down. So, substantial. 42.42. I have to be very careful what I say, so I'll keep it at that. This opening move is where it drops and then recovers 2 candles. Reminds me of the opening from the 17th, possibly. This has a very 2022 look to it, not in the fact of downside, but in the terms of volatility. Volatility was rampant, and now we're starting to see that kind of pick up. Where we have, I mean, look what happened to FOMC last week. We had 50 points up and down like 3 times. So the volatility is going crazy. What security level do I have? Top secret. $42.40. What age did you go into the Army? Never been in the Army. In the Air Force, though. I was in the Air Force. I have a top secret clearance in my house. There you go. I went into the Air Force at 24. Chair Force, that's right. All right, so we've been consolidating here at 42.40. Bookmap does have a pull up to 42.70 and then 60 and 50. A lot of liquidity up here. We've got an iceberg lower, but really it's all eyes on the Treasury market. The Treasury market's kind of leading this here. Is there any truth to what they show in Top Gun? No. Top Gun is incredibly fictional. We do have bond auctions today. We have a more important bond auction tomorrow. So we have short-dated bond auctions today, which are important, but we have even more importance tomorrow. So, what's my favorite war movie? I'd probably have to say Saving Private Ryan's pretty fantastic. The cinematics were glorious. Top Gun is fantastic, don't get me wrong. Cinematics is amazing. But in terms of what would actually happen. But yeah, Pacific is awesome. Let's see what else. The cinematics in Pearl Harbor were pretty fantastic. Obviously, I wasn't a World War II pilot, but obviously the love story kind of ruined that movie. I wish they would have done without that love story. But Braveheart's amazing. Yeah, obviously a little before my time, but Black Hawk Down was awesome. I've got a lot of, well, I can't say that. Yeah, Black Hawk Down was fantastic. Yeah. Did you see what Bill Ackman tweeted? Yeah, we covered our bond short. I did see that. Yeah, so there's a lot of people starting to cover their shorts on the bonds because, and here's the thing, it's not necessarily because they don't think the bonds are going to go down more. It's because now the risk, it's all about risk. It's not about saying, oh, I think bonds are going up now, because they're not that egotistical. It's about the risk. Right now, the risk is that we're about to have a phenomenally large rally in the bonds. And I've been telling you all that. That is the reason why I want to start dollar cost averaging into bonds, because it's time. It's getting there. Red 42 for grain 42.41 here. Lone Survivor is one of my favorites. Fantastic movie. American Sniper, also fantastic. There was a great opportunity for them. What is it called? Eye in the Sky, with the guy that played Jesse in Breaking Bad. Could have been great, but unfortunately they had to bring politics into it, which is untrue. A lot of that movie was garbage. Do you know about the Masters of the Air show coming out in January? Its creators, Band of Brothers. I saw that, yeah. All right, big green 42.44 here, coming up into 42.50. Making a move there, and so far that's about a 4 or 5 point green. XLF is on a rocket ship and going. I've been holding this ES contract for what feels like forever. Just open. I need 42.43 to pass top step. There you go. Nice. You got it? There you go. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, Dunkirk was pretty awesome. All right. All Quiet on the Western Front. Haven't seen the movie, but I read the book. I read the book when I was in high school. All right, top wick right back off. And this is a very crucial moment for ES. VIX is still rolling off. TLT is still climbing. Isn't the buy-in for TLT when you see some divergence between steel and commodities, like they seem to be generally linked in the same direction? Yes. So we started to see that last week where bonds go up and equities go down. We started to see that last week, and today we're starting to see a little bit more of it because even though we did pop up to 42.40, but look what the bonds are doing right now. They're freaking rocketing to 83 after putting in a new low. But right now we're still in the shakeout phase. Like Anna Coling talks about this, when everyone wants to go long, it's not going to be a V. It's not going to be red and then green and then up we go. It's going to be big time red, which we've been having for 3 years now. And then it's going to be green, red, green, red, green, green, red, 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 green, red, green, red, green, red. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to get people whipsawing as the volatility hits to pump people out of shorts, to get people into bonds, and then it's going to freaking go. The consolidation phase, the shakeout phase. And that's kind of what's happening here. NASDAQ is 15 points away from going green. They've put on about 150 points. ES is 42.44, about to put another high here. Probably going for this 42.50 right here. I popped into a quick call scalp here to kind of take advantage of this pop because I think we're going to 50. To kind of offset a little bit here what's going on with my PDS. I'm still green on the PDS. I was phenomenally green on the PDS, obviously, a couple hours ago now. Obviously, it's not so much, but I'm going to get a little scalp going here. I don't trust this and go without me. There you go. The daily chart does look like ugly. Yeah. Have you ever been stationed in Miramar? Negative. So, crazy stuff. I'm on the sidelines today waiting for opportunity. There you go. I'm just playing very quick right now because I'm not sure what this thing's going from here. Last name is Rambo. Wasn't it Rambo Marines? Or Green Beret? I forget what he was. It's been a while since I've seen that stuff. All right, 42.45 coming up to 50. The POC is up to 42.65, which would bring us right against this level. I'm surprised that Putin having a heart attack is not trending on Twitter at all. But the NFL is. People got to get their football in. Could be fake. Yeah, could be. Let's take a look at CNN and Fox News. Surely they would report on that if it's real. Yeah. Trending. No. Yeah. Nothing on the main sites either. Probably not real. Interesting. Stopped out. All right, a little bit of green there. We've got. All right, cool. Bring it back down. Good old AI. But a Trump. Oh yeah. Jeez Louise. 4240. Yeah, I'm not Navy. Let's take a look down. I haven't done a big scope out down yet. 4150. Man, it's crazy to see these numbers again. 4,000, all light stuff. This is all light stuff. Is that 4850 guy still up there? I haven't checked on him in a couple of weeks. What's he doing? Yeah, he's still up there. Look at that guy. Little sigh up over there trying to, yeah. Deep fakes, baby. All right. 4243. All right, so Putin news is fake. 4244, we're about to break out consolidation. The volume is gone here. So the volume's dropped back off. We're now in normal volume environments from the morning open. Bonds are still going crazy. XLF is 33.24, and Microsoft is coming back down. VIX is still also coming down. Volatility, IV is still hanging out 33%, so it's actually popped up a little bit since the open. And we're just kind of chillaxing right now. GEX by exposure right here. Gamma exposure. There's the GEX for the 23rd. 420, 421. There's a bottom wick to head higher. They keep on dumping to grab more and going higher. A lot of volatility there. That right there is a 10-point candle and going higher even more. A lot of volatility. Now they're adding 4260 heading up. NASDAQ's going, and NASDAQ just flipped green. And ES is only 1 point away from going green. Quite strong. Took puts at S1. Yeah, if you took puts at S1, man, I would have stopped out a long time ago. That green candle, that would have got me. The initial green candle off S1, that would have got me out. That's way too much strength. That's a huge green engulfing. Green engulfings are one of the most bullish things you can experience. So, and then conversely, a red engulfing is one of the most bearish things you can experience. So, that's a stop right there. All right. 42.47 coming up to 52 and 57. And everything is going strong. Bonds are straight up. They're rocketing. Bonds have now gone from 81.94 to 83.60. So that's almost a $3 recovery on bonds. Very, very strong. If you are entering a trade without defining your stop, I'd advise you to make a strategy adjustment. Yeah, absolutely. The best traders aren't the ones that are most correct. They're the ones who are least wrong. So everyone's going to be wrong. You have to get out quickly when you are. Period. They've done this too often in last week's pre-market. Drop it, get everyone bearish, and buy it up. Yep, especially to start the week off. For me, the inverse of a bull market, be patient, sell the rips. Yep, that's what I've been doing for pretty much 2 years now, is just sell the rips. In October of 2023 was a lot of rips. Too much volatility. Dance, too much volatility in the charts. Dance. I fell for it last week, so twice today I took calls at pre-market, listening to on podcast. There you go. Nice. 42.45. I appreciate that you tried those song lyrics. It's a great song. Bond's still going, almost to 84. It'll be funny if this drops down again. The thing is, though, in this market, it can absolutely happen. It's not without the realm. It's not outside of the realm of possibility for this stuff to happen. Speaking of which, I need some music. Did you really, Nick? I've done stuff just like that, so don't be ashamed. When I was back in my big bodybuilding days, I've eaten an entire carton of ice cream before, like the half gallons, like you'd buy. I've eaten an entire one of those in one sitting before. Oh yeah, I've eaten 5 Big Macs at one sitting before. 5, yes. All right, new green, 42.49, still riding up here. Now they're going for the 50. My PDS is now red. We're recovering higher. Uh-oh. $42.50. It's still going. So play the upside here. This is incredibly strong. Look at the bonds right now. They're freaking going exponential. I've never seen TLT do a move like this. Like, this is absurd. And so far, they're not diverging. So everything is correlating with this move. The bonds are going exponential. So play calls upside here. Play the calls upside. Nice, disciple. Man, what a move. 40 points on ES. So calls are doing pretty well. Pretty well. 42.50 coming up here. VIX is rolling off 20.97. TLT is going up. XLF recovered all of their losses. And now everything is green. Most of the X's are green now, except for XLE. XLK is slightly red, but they're coming back up. NASDAQ and ES are both green. Tesla's about to go green after a phenomenally big sell-off this morning. And this looks a lot like 2022, man. A lot of crazy volatility. Is there a reason for the bonds going higher? Because everyone's starting to buy up the bonds, it looks like. I mean, that is a crazy rally on the bonds. It's freaking going. It's just recovered 4 points. What a move. Wow. 42.51. Bottom wick on ES. Cheap puts for the rest of the week. Buy bonds, sell stocks. Eventually, that's the plan. Yeah, they're not selling stocks just yet here. They're recovering everything. I think this is the volatility stage. This is what Michael Guy has been talking about, where everybody gets fooled. Where everybody gets fooled, where they're going to start whipsawing everything. Volatility is going to start really inflowing into the market, and then the moves that start can be made. I thought when bonds go up, the stocks go down. Not typically, no. Not until the rotation. Red candles. How do you trade ZB? Is it too risky? I've traded ZB before. I don't typically do it too much. Yeah, Bill Ackman covered his bond shorts. This is not the relief rally, is it? It could be. I don't know. We need to see how the equities close today. If equities close down and like if SES and Nasdaq comes all the way back off into the red, and then the bonds still keep going up, that could very well start it. Now we had that last week. We did have the divergence happen last week, and if that happens again and again and again, and then the TLT keeps rallying, then yeah, I think it's here. I think it's here. Is ZB as algo driven as sketchy as ES? All futures are. Yeah, especially the bond products. You have to realize the treasury market, the bond market, is way bigger than the equities market. Like the bond market is the big dog. The equities market, stock market is just the little brother. Y'all crack me up. Y'all crack me up. Bonds are for grown-ups, equities are for us. That's right. I'll try to get my mom to load up on TLT. I'm about to literally go into this week. I'm going into my TSP and I'm allocating 100% into the G fund. Are you more likely to be profitable for retirement trading bonds as opposed to equities? Well, trading, eh. Investing, right now, the play right now is safety into bonds. Now, I do think the bonds could go lower. I don't know. The volatility is crazy, and I'm not going to understand to know that. I just know that we are reaching the point where the risk for the bonds is phenomenal upside with the possibility for a little bit more downside, yes. Possibly into the 70s. If you're that confident TLT, any reason why you wouldn't take the leverage version? It's not a bad idea. It's not a terrible idea. Sell puts on TLT. The Just make sure you've got. Yeah, okay, there you go. That idyllic. All right. Okay, you know what you're doing. All right, 42.43 here. Liquidity at 40, liquidity at 60. I think I have 30% bonds, but I get 25 plus years until retirement in the post office. There you go. Still holding out 42.40 here. All right, dropping back off 42.44. I'm very curious to see how this day is going to close. This is a lot of interesting action here. Very interesting. And there's already a lot of bulls. I don't want to say that, buyers on Twitter taking victory laps right here, and I want to caution you against that. This is not the market to take victory laps. This is the market to watch for volatility, because this can either go to back to 42.80, or this can come all the way back down to 4,200 today. So if you feel, I already answered that. Time to YOLO on TLT calls. I think it's dollar cost averaging time for sure. It's definitely dollar cost averaging time. All right, 42.42 here. VIX is 21.22. We have liquidity at 42.52. Looking at the 5-minute chart, we have a nice little reversal back down here. Oh my gosh. Look at this red. Look at this red. Beautiful. SPX is 41. Let's see. $42.38. The last 2 weeks, they love to set the first hour and dance around your macro. Yeah. Which now the first hour is set. Is set right here. So we have the high of the day was 42.52.50. And we have the low of the day, which is right after the open at 13.25. So now we can play this beautiful range. Right there. Load up on NVIDIA 400 puts. That's a great play right there. NVIDIA's climbing hard. That's another 20-point reversal, man. We're putting on 20-point moves like it's nothing. You've got to be very careful playing zero DTEs. If you don't like big P&L swings, then don't trade zeros today. Stick to futures. You ever seen the toxicity in Weeble comments? I didn't even know Weeble had comments. Hung out 42.38. All right, so we have this iceberg lower, 42.37. IV is still hanging out at 33%, even with the VIX move down to 21.30. If the VIX does not mean revert, man, that thing is going to go 32, 35, if not higher. The volatility continues to plummet, or to spike, as the equities plummet. I think this thing is about to drop a little bit to 30 here. 15-minute chart. Top wick. We have a doji top wick at 10:15 coming on a red candle. $42.37. Just be on guard right here. Be on guard right here. This is where things start getting spicy. XLF is coming back down. I've taken one call today. I'm looking to see if this thing can break down to pre-market lows from here. Or not pre-market lows and day's lows. That would be glorious. Weeble comment section to the same people on WSB. Yeah, unfortunately. That's what I want y'all to get away from, is that don't take victory laps, man. This is a time for protection. $42.10, yeah. So look, they're adding 42.30, 42.35. They've got the 4210 on. The last line of defense here is the 42.53 area on Bookmap right now. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. They have 14.600s coming on, and they took off 700. There's no way there's people still buying that crap. Really? If they rotate tech and Apple, Amazon, they could push more too. Possible. Today is definitely not fun. Yeah. Definitely. Man, look at that big green, 42.42. All right. Man, this is crazy. NASDAQ is 14. So NASDAQ is putting on 40, 50-point candles like it's nothing. ES is all over the place, 42.43, heading higher right now. Tech is still just rocket ship. Amazon is way up and going. Nvidia is up 2.4. Meta is up 1.15. So tech is obviously doing everything. XLF is doing a little bit of green of their own, although they're not quite as strong. And we all know what the bonds are doing, but it's nuts. $420.8. The risk reward in this 420 bounce was awesome. Coulda, woulda that scalp. Yep. Yep. Daily premiums. GEX is total negative here. What's up, Pastor? How you doing? Taking a day rest from the couple of weeks. My 30 DT put his love in the sell-off. Nice, Pastor. Well done, buddy. Good to have you here. Bounce a PM high, continuing up to 42.60. 42.60. We have an imbalance to 42.59, so that would fill 42.60 would fill the imbalance. So that's a pretty likely target once we take out the morning high pivot, which is now 52.50. So I would encourage you to set that 42.50 pivot. That's the morning high, and the morning high and low has been working beautifully. So attack the 42.50. If we take that out and balance at 42.60, if we take out the morning high and that really gets that bullish with tech rotating, then we've got a lot of upside into the 65.70 range here. Now, in terms of open interest in overall long-dated exposure in the market, there are so many more puts in this market than calls. Very few calls relative. Whale timeline. We have $61 million in cumulative net premiums for today's exposure, which is a lot. And let's see here, positive deltas. We are in definitely positive delta territory here. Someone say 420? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know what you mean now. What's up, Prism Mike? So after the initial green move, we're right about here in this 42.40 up and down, oscillating right around this 42.40 level. I want to extend away from this 42.40 level to get some confidence in a trade right here. Now, we do have a big week this week in terms of catalyst. Obviously, we've got earnings. We have tech reporting this week. We've got banks reporting this week, Visa, MasterCard. However, we also have PCE on Friday. We have GDP. We do have a JPOW speech on Wednesday, but I don't think it's anything. It's literally introductory remarks for a conference. It's not going to be of anything of substance. We have the whole plethora of FOMC speeches. And, of course, all the other normal data that we have on the week. Initial jobless claims, all that kind of crap. So, all building into next week, which is FOMC. FOMC is next Thursday. Here's some green. $42.47. What's up, Tracy? Tracy, morning. $42.49. Up to, looks like we're going to attack 52 here, which is also the day's highs. Yeah, this Wednesday. Am I still in the calls? No, I got out of the calls. Right now I'm in nothing except the PDS. Think I'll call it a day? Well, we need to get away from this level, that's for sure. All right, 42.48. Few. I love that guy, dude. Love him. 42.50. Now we're kind of creeping up into the 52 area. Watch the 52 prior daily's highs. Bonds are still going up here. VIX is still coming off. IV is coming off just a couple of points here. So into 50. $42.48. Still not moving really. Right up here. Looks like we are just kind of putting in this channel. I'm going to go out to the 120. 120 POC is up to the 4231 area. I'm sorry, 4321. And all eyes right now, the upside target is on the imbalance at 4260. Overnight imbalance for the week. Weekly chart here. Obviously, we have a bit of a bottom wick. We're only a couple hours into the week. Last week's weekly candle was the highest volume we've had in a very long time, especially on the sell side. Going all the way back to early June since we've had that kind of volume. 2 major top wicks in a row, big and red engulfing. This week's a very important week for the bears, for the sellers. Is this Matt from Trade Brigade? Negative. No. Don't know that channel. Small green, get an early start of the day. Nice Willers. All right. What's oil doing? Let me see if there's anything to do with oil. They're not there. They're chopping around too. NASDAQ is coming off a little bit of red after their POC. NASDAQ has almost filled the imbalance. They're only a couple of points away from their imbalance. ES is still 15 points away. Thank you. Matt has a New England accent. Yeah. You guys sound alike. Snapchat is recovering all of their green. Anyone who is looking at Snapchat, they reported. Disney sold all the way off today and then bounced back up. I still expect them to go into the 60s. Dumpster fire earnings coming up. Yeah. Give us your best English accent. I don't want to insult my English counterparts. The accumulation in tight sideways price action has been very interesting. It has, yeah. So we had a volume spike there at 10.25 on the move down. Bounce off 36 back up here, and we're still just under the morning high. In terms of bookmap liquidity, 42.55 right here. That's the main liquidity level that they're trying to eat there. That's out of that we have 42.35, 42.60. UNG. What do I think of UNG? Well, obviously, heavily dependent on what's going on here. With the geopolitical. That is not something I normally trade. It's, that is all over the place. Let me go out to the monthly. If you look at the monthly chart, the volume has dropped off, and we've been pretty much pinging around 7, sitting at these pretty much all-time lows for the UNG. So the mean reversion trade on that is obviously up, but it's been getting, dropping steadily. The historical macro trend is definitely down. But yeah, eventually I do think they're going to make a move back up, especially going into wintertime. It might be a good little short-term long there, but it's not something I trade. How about Arnold? I don't get to get out of here. What do I think of USO? USO is an interesting one. I've traded USO. It obviously went negative at one point, and it's got a lot of upside. They've done a couple of reverse splits. If you've got a little extra cash, depending on what's going on this winter, it might be a good long. And it still hasn't even come close to recovering the coronavirus crash. But do you think R2 to R3 jump can happen today? I do. Yeah, if we take out R2, which will be the main pivot here, then yeah, I mean R3 is going to be the main pivot. That's the main level up top. But first we got to get through the imbalance. So my first target is the imbalance here with this much. There's no sellers on the chart. We had a little bit of sell, bought back up. If they take 52, then we're going to 65, 60, 65 here. They're adding up to 60 here, liquidity. So might we get Vanna if VIX were to drop? If they start liquidating the VIX from here, then yeah, we could get a bit of a pop up here, kind of like what happened a couple Mondays ago. There's 60,000. Tesla puts at 200. Ooh. Do I think it's more of a long-term play? Yeah. Yeah. All right. 42.59. Man, this thing is just pinned right now. We've been here for what? Almost an hour. We've been pinned to this 42, mid 42.40 level. Yeah, Apple's kind of creeping up. Top wick on XLF. Let's take a look at Friday, October 27th. $42.20, 43.40s. Sweet sassy molassie. Yeah, premium is jacked for sure. %31 IV. Do I see a possible Tesla short? Let me take a look. Well, what's occurring right now is that flip. They've got a big pivot around the 216, I would say range between 213 and 215, right in that range, the $2 range. We've got a big retest on Tesla. Historically, that is the main pivot on Tesla in that range. And we're right inside it, right back off. We drop below it. This is the retest. If we were to top wick this, man, I would look to short this thing into 170s, into the 170s on Tesla. I want to join your Discord, but it says link invalid. Interesting. Let me take a look. Give it a shot. Try it now. I got 16 points on ES in total after 3 trades. Green no matter what shade is fine for me. There you go. Well done, John. Hope you. Hey, how'd your wife do with the marathon? Was it Atlantic City? You said it was? All right, look what they did at 42.60. They just popped in liquidity higher. I think we have a little Scott Stapp situation occurring here. $42.60. SPX is currently 42.22. 42.30 is going for what, $8 if we take that out. We're rejecting the morning high right now, holding right up against it. Bonds are still going higher. What do they want to do with this? Let me go to the 240. $85. So we have resistance here at 42.60. There's so much going on at 42.60. Right there. Blue Horseshoe said, shoot the moon. I don't know what that means. Apple just went higher, green candles. Bonds are about to break out, and I think we're about to wipe the 60. Man, I hate taking calls right at the morning high, but Apple's breaking out here. I think we're going to grab the 62 level, 65 level. I hate it. $42.49. They're doubling down on 52 and adding 62 here as well. You see right now the CVD is pretty much neutral. We don't really have a strong way up here. We've just been consolidating for about an hour. And you see every time we've attempted 52, it's failed. But the sellers aren't continuing. It's just kind of, hey, chill out for a second. But here's another attack on 52. Your guess is as good as mine this morning. Let's see, we're at 421.29. 422 is the collective GEX here, shifting higher. With the way the VIX is moving, you think we'd be up way more. Yeah, VIX has come off quite a bit. It's dropped, about 10%. It's now down 4%. It was up big time this morning. Going green. I think we're about to go through 52. Whatever position you have, just set your stops, because this is a feisty area into that 52 resistance. Timber for here. I don't hate the thought of coming back down. Trust me. I'm not looking for crazy moves up. I just think we could potentially hit the imbalance and wipe out this liquidity here. Amazon is going higher. Apple's going higher. Microsoft is going higher. XLF is still flat. Yeah, we have 132 iceberg lower too. 42.50, still hanging out here. You see this, all right, another iceberg here about to breach that. It looks like they're building to wipe out this 52. Right up here, this has all the looks about to breach that 52. The rejections off of it are getting tighter and tighter. You see the CVD is increasing. The volume is starting to build, and we're absorbing right up against 50, and we're eventually going to have this green bubble and have one of these little blip pop right through it. Apple's getting smoked, or not getting smoked, it's smoking it all the way up. Getting smoked and smoking are two different things. 173, they're breaking out, and they're up to they're about to break herein on the day. Still heading higher. Watch this right here into 52. There we go. There's the first 51. Now this 52 level, this is the exact morning high pivot. We breach that. It's going to be a quick trip to 60 and fill the imbalance. So watch how they deal with this right here. You see that as the first liquidity grab. They attacked it. CVD is going up. Building it. No rejection off of it. And now's the attack on 52. Right here. Can we get out of this consolidation? $50. Not a lot of movement so far. Oh my gosh. How hard would it be to take a naked trade with no indicators as price action key levels? I mean, I've done it. In fact, I do it almost every day. I've got a YouTube video where one time I muted everything on my chart. Everything. And I took trades, and I did pretty well. I think you'll be surprised how good you could do with all that, without all of that crap. Well, most of that crap is just a distraction. Basic price action, baby. All right, we're still hanging out here. Given the fact that we had some pretty erratic behavior at the open, now we're pretty choppy. Not much going on. Have I taken any trades? Yeah, I took a call earlier, but that's it. In addition to the PDS on Friday. But right now I'm just kind of waiting. VIX is down to 20.7. Now, the pivot on the VIX is 20.5, and we are approaching that level. If they pop 20.5 and go lower, that's where you're going to start to get your major Vanna. You're going to start to see your major buy-ups here. So keep an eye on VIX. In fact, I would set a price alert on VIX for 20.5. If they break that and it continue down, that's where we're going to start going through to 42.65, 42.70, etc. And we're going to have a trend up day. As of now, we are just under the morning high of 42.52.50, which is also this right here. And they're attacking it right now. So just be careful. If they take this out, we're going to 60. They're even adding up at 62.50. VIX is still heading lower. Right here. How can we have Vanna if we just had OPEX? Well, Vanna is not necessarily handcuffed to just OPEX. You have to realize with the 0 DTEs every day, hedging, Vanna is a derivative of hedging requirements. And with 0 DTE options, and people are putting on positions for Monday with short-dated options, that you can have those type of rallies on the short-dated. Now, it's not going to be, 200 points or 150 points like we had on that last Vanna, or whatever, 110 points, whatever it was. But we could still have Vanna-type movements with the hedges rolling off with IV getting crushed. Because every day we're getting these huge IV pops and then IV roll-offs. And if the VIX rolls off here and that happens, then we can have a potentially buyback situation into the afternoon. Look, they're about to eat this 52. We were right up against it. There's no selling pressure on this 52 just yet. I went from using 6 indicators as a beginner to only 2 indicators, HMA and a custom take profit loss indicator. There you go. How to get to be called Vanna? I don't know. It's a good question. Here it is, 42.50. Iceberg came on. Usually when I see the icebergs come on, I start to look for a breach. Right here. Watch it. They re-add 4,200, but price action says we go higher. At the same time, there aren't significant levels above. Absolutely have no idea what we're doing. Yeah, I agree. That's the issue. Obviously, the market and price action is very bullish at the moment, but there's not much higher other than this imbalance. All right, there's a test of the day's highs right there. If you are in call positions, just hold them, set your trailing stops, and that's it. Set your stops. New high of the day, just ate through that 52. So with that iceberg coming on right there, that's what I was looking for, a breach of 52. Now if they hold it, we're going to push to 60. And 60 will fill the imbalance. So be careful there. There we go, 53. Now heading into 60. That's what I want to look for a breach of a level. See that? Where it just glues? We have a couple of rejections off of 50. Here, here, one over here. But look what happens as this time around. We come up, small rejection, and they get tighter and tighter and tighter, squeezing against 52. That means absorption. Sellers never do their job, so the buyers are now free to transact into that level, into 53. And now we have our top wick after transacting. $54 down to $48. Let's see what happens. $49. What are your thoughts on yield max ETFs like TSLY and APLY? I don't really have a good opinion about those. Trade them at your leisure. It's not something I pay too much attention to myself. How do you set a trailing stop in trade of 8? I don't. A true trailing stop, I don't know. I know how to set just a basic stop that I use as a trailing, manual trailing. I need to place my weekly trade on them, by the way. That reminds me. All right, so that candle right there at 11:05 had a volume spike with the top wick. Let's go to the 15-minute. What's VPA tell us? VPA tells us right now that there's not a lot of confidence one way or the other on the 15-minute. We have top wicks and bottom wicks galore into 42.50. The 5-minute candle have yet another top wick, and this candle just opened up right here after transacting 53. So far, that's 4 green in a row, but pretty weak candle so far. Waiting for bond auction? I don't know if they'd wait for the short-dated auctions. Maybe. I mean, that is a catalyst today. I think the more important one is the longer-dated stuff. It's possible, though. That's a really cool. I just reposted a video on Twitter about the crash of 2008. It's pretty cool. All right. Still hanging out 42.50. Where do you see the imbalance? If you look here on ES, I'm looking for the imbalance right there. Where the book becomes imbalanced and begins to skew is where I want to look. So right there. And all we're doing is undoing the pre-market weakness back up. And for S&P, I'd probably put us there. See what happens. You're welcome. Your CVD is based on what length? 5 or higher? My CVD is based on I have it cut the current open with each tick. Y'all are quiet today in the server. Again, there's not really much going on at the moment, but VIX is coming down, and here's that 20.5 test on the VIX. The VIX is now undone for 3 points worth of movement, getting crushed, and they're crushing the volatility. They were up 10%, and they're now down 5. So yeah, if they take out that 20.5, we're going to blast to 42.7. This is why we're not getting any. This is exactly why we're not getting any selling. If y'all are wondering why we're doing the slow grind up with zero selling whatsoever, it's because they're rolling off the volatility and the premiums are getting crushed with IV, and because of that, buyers are now setting their algorithms to gobble up SPY shares, to gobble up their underlying shares to hedge their portfolio back to neutral, and it's causing this slow little drip upwards with not really any blast, but no selling, and just kind of going blah 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 blah, because the algorithms are now key to buy as the volatility rolls off. And there's a new high of the day coming into 60. I'm quiet because it's been a hard day for me to trade. And we keep on putting in these slow, small, gradual hires into 42.60. And now the yields are turning back red. So the Treasury market is responding. That would set the equities up for a bullish move today. 42.56 right there, going still. TLT is a rocket ship. VIX is coming off hard into 42.56, going for 60. New high, going up again, 42.57. Now we're attacking 60. Just make sure you're setting your trailing stops. Just trail the price. That's it. Trail the price, 42.57. And all signs point to 60 here to fill that imbalance. VIX is now punched under 20.50, so that prior pivot. And they are in strong kill the VIX opportunity here. And now we're getting into squeeze territory with the VIX breaking that level. There's 42.59. I would not get in the habit of shorting this unless you see some 15-minute top wicks that hold. Right now, the more they roll the VIX off, the more we're going to pop into 60. I found a great entry to take advantage of this of just watching. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We just chopped for an hour straight, and we finally broke out the top. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, 42.55. Went to move my limit sell a little higher and hit it before I finished. W's W. Nice, Captain Jack. I say this all the time, but I freaking love selling diagonals. I've sold puts and have been deep in the money for a while now, but I can sell diagonal spreads down, down, down. Still collect premium while lowering my strikes. I love it. It's a beautiful way to do it, man. It's a beautiful way. Keep it up, dude. I've been loving watching your plays the past few months kind of build. $42.55 here. Still going 42.57. A lot of your market awareness, but I keep adding tech. Yeah, I like it. Thanks, bud. Yeah, it's awesome. That's the whole point, man. Collective learning. Still going 42.58 into 60. So keep on moving up your trailing stops and riding this thing. If they're not going to sell, then cool. Just keep on riding it up and set your trailing stops. Move it up. Let the price action stop you out, not your greed. A strong bought auction result and will be confirmation of possible flight to safety. Possibly, yeah. Possibly. In order for me to really see flight to safety, I need the drawdown on the equities because that's going to say that people are going to find a place to park their money. The market is too risky, and they're going to outflow. There we go, 42.57. About to enter into 60. I think by the time we have the stock drop, TLT will be back to 100. You're probably right, and that's why dollar cost averaging is your best solution there. 42.58. Going right into 60. So set your trailing stop, still go into this area. There's no selling here. If they take out the imbalance with no problem and hold above it, then we're going to be in short squeeze territory. So for me, I would start tightening up your trailing stops into 60, see what happens here, and then go from there and see what they do with the 60 imbalance. Let me take a look at the new exposure. Drastically changed. Now we have up to 423, 420, and I think 424 will be the cap on the market today, for now at least. 4260 approaching. So I would look to possibly not only remove your longs at 424 at SPY, but also look to possibly take a retracement off of 424. So let's come up here and let's put a line right there if we get up there. There it is. Pop. 4260 wiped in balance. That is a new high right there. Took out pre-market high. Sorry about that. I had you muted on YouTube. Yeah, don't strive for that same big gain when you've got to smash that. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why whenever you get a big day, your very next day is probably pretty red. Because you go for that same big move, you get that high, and you start chasing the dragon. Come on, catch me. And you try to go for it, and you end up getting smoked. South Park. Somebody caught it. NASDAQ's going nuts? Yeah. It's because of, look at tech. Apple's rallying. All of tech is rallying. NASDAQ just put on 220 points. All right, let me see here. So I'm only down a couple of $100 on my PDS after being up quite a lot, which is fine. That's the whole point of the PDS. So it's absorbing this green very well. You throw in a couple of calls, pretty good day. Heroin hero. I love it. Haven't watched South Park in a long time, but they were the goat of comedy. So we're rejecting right on this imbalance here. We still have 4270 liquidity on, nothing else above. And that would be the target if we broke this. Where do I start turning towards puts? I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we're there yet. Pretty much now. I mean, it's definitely tempting the higher you go, but I don't see the signs yet. And I don't want to front run this freight train. TLT is still going higher into 84. And they're up to, they're up about $2.50. Take puts when I sign off for the day. Yeah. I mean, it happened this morning when I jumped off to take a call. We dumped, and the second I get back on, we rally. So, I mean, it happens. Can I get your number to call you? Jabroni. All right, 4260. 4 out of 5 winning trades. Nice, Christos. Beautiful. Throw your bank account number in there as well. You know, I actually could do that just fine. I've got very, very little money in my bank account. In the one that I would give you, at least. I don't trust banks at all, so I keep diversified bank accounts across a couple of different banks. I'm legally required to give you my bank info. Yeah, forgot about that. Where do you go to find out these bond auctions? Well, you can go to treasurydirect.gov or you can go to investing.com for the schedule. I personally go to treasurydirect.gov to find out the results of said auctions. But if you just want to see the schedule, they're posted on investing.com, a couple of different places as well. 4250 on the bottom, getting put on. First sign of lower liquidity we've had in a while. And up to 4270. Man, bonds are still freaking going. Disney said to near multi-billion-dollar deal with Ambani, India. $42.60. They took off the 42.50. I'm going to get a put on here eventually. This is, I think I'm looking forward to this rejection, but I'm going to still play for the upside for the moment. Still play for the upside. $84.28 still going. VIX is still coming off 20.19. What's the IV? IV has now come off to 27, so now we're starting to get the roll off of IV, which is causing the buy-ups. It's really starting to cause the buy-ups here. $42.61. TSP. In fact, I'm going to do that right freaking now. TSP. Here, y'all want me to make a 7-figure trade live on stream? I'll do it right now. Entry password. I'm reallocating my entire TSP into G Fund. Still going. 42.62 coming up. Bear with me a second. All right. 30% on a TLT 83 call. Excuse my earnings, but what's a G fund? G fund is the treasury fund. So the TSP is the government's version of a 401k. So when you're a federal employee, you've got the TSP. And the TSP is made up of several different funds. You have the S fund, which is small cap, C fund, which is the commercial cap. You've got the I fund, which is international, G fund, which is the treasury fund, and a whole bunch of other ones. Right now, I am diversified between the S and C fund. And now I'm about to close out my S and C fund and rotate it all into the G fund for the upcoming moves. It's my retirement account, 401k. 42.64 going higher. Watch the 424 here on SPY. What are the reasons for you deciding to move your whole TSP into G? Because I think the bond market's about to rally. I've popped in and out of the G fund a couple of times in the past 3 years. But I think now the risk is for the bond market to rally and the equities to fall. $42.63. I was looking out of the T fund of curiosity. If the 10 years at 2.25 isn't the most high yield savings account better, or is there something that I'm missing? I mean, right now there's no hurt. There's no problem with hanging out in some high yield savings, paying out 4.5 to 5%. There's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, 4270 is coming up here. We've got Microsoft is climbing. We've got Amazon is climbing hard. We've got Apple is 172.80 and VIX is 20.08 and falling. And the VIX and the ES is just going. So keep setting your trailing stops up here and ride this thing up. I've scalped a couple of small calls here, but it's just going into 4270. 424, I'm going to hit refresh on the GEX. VIX is still rolling off here, getting absolutely crushed. VIX is now down 7.7%. Every single candle is lower. And what that tells me is that we're reducing all their hedges. Remember, you don't sell the VIX. There is nothing to sell in the VIX. What the VIX is an equation that you write on a blackboard on some prestigious college that is made up of the option chain positioning. What I'm seeing right now is them reducing all hedges on the chain right now, and they're killing the VIX. That is a 12 to 15% reduction on the VIX in one day. And now we're going 42.65 and just flying. Just flying. Filter 23. 424 is my upside target for SPY here. I'm going to take a speculative put at 424 if we get there. Still going into the 42.70 coming up. VIX is coming off 20, about to be in the 19s. What a freaking move on the VIX. Absolutely pummeling it. All right. 42.65. One more push up and we will tap this 424 right here. Are you using levels to determine that bonds are going up? Trying to see your logic for that. Well, you know, my whole plan this whole time is that once we breached under 90 on TLT, for me, dollar cost averaging beginning is going to be imminent. So obviously we breached 90 significantly. We got down into 81s today, and of course, ever since we breached down, we've gapped up to 84. So my overall theme here is the fact that the risk now is to go up. No, I still think the volatility here is going to make the bonds go lower, but overall, I think after 2.5 years of getting destroyed, the treasury market is prime for a rotation trade, which means rotates out of equity into bonds, and that's my thesis, and I'm going to play to it because it could be a phenomenal trade if you were to get on the good side of that. And I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit. Buy calls on TLT? That's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. Black Monday. Yeah, tell me about it. Wants to turn our long-term accounts into generational wealth on bonds. That would be glorious. I would be freaking over the moon if I could get you on the right side of the bond trade. Am I getting smashed on TLT calls? Yeah, a lot of people have, because bonds have been getting destroyed for 2.5 years. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pound the table and say this is where the bonds climb. That's why I'm Myself, I am doing dollar cost averaging because I don't know when the bounce is going to occur. I do know that I have to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. No, let it drop. Well, I wanted to get it in puts at 424. They better not freaking dump it before. Jabronis. Please keep taking breaks every 15 minutes until we reach low of the day. You jabronis. Fix down to 20. I have 700 shares of TLT. Nice, Kevin. Beautiful. $42.60. Only a 34-point retracement on NASDAQ. That thing's been all over the place, dude. Up and down, 50 points. So in this area, although I was personally looking for 424, in this area, due to the positive GEX here, which repels, this is where I would be a little bit more cautious on long. I was going to take a speculation put at 424, but obviously we rejected down. So in this area, which is in balance, which is now done, so I could delete that. That's now filled. Is the 424 positive GEX. Be a little bit more cautious about longs in this area. Made my daily goal. Thanks for the morning or the information. You're welcome, Sam. As soon as I confirm this TSP move, I'll let y'all know if it matters, but whatever. What's the GEX? GEX, GEX. Stands for gamma exposure. That is the major exposure in the option chain here. Are you missing something, or am I screen sharing? I've got the link, YouTube link, in the stream analysis channel. So they just came down, ate this 42.58. Now we have 42.70 as the last on deck. Isn't the biggest negative GEX for the day at 425? A-firm. The positive GEX is 424. Hold on a second. I was thinking 423, not 424. I'll take a look. The biggest GEX right now is 423. The positive is 424. So that's why I was looking for them to reject up here at 424. In terms of EPA, we haven't had a selling climax yet. It's all just buying up here. That's why another bottom wick right here. Someone ran this 5 minutes ago. Am I reading it wrong? We got 425 right there is negative, and up to 422. No, you're reading it right, but I look at it more of a broad spectrum where it brings in the entire range, not just a smaller range. So I've got a big negative up to 429, which is correct, and 422 or 430. But right now, if you shift lower, our main GEX is 423. And then we've got the positive 424. Here, I'll show you what I got. And I've got RAND for October 23rd exposure. Correct. Yeah, that's just for 0DD. Now, the chart I post is also for 0DD because I've got it filtered for just 23rd exposure, which is today. But allows me, using that chart allows me to change expirations. So I can go from today, tomorrow to Friday, or the aggregate in general. That is with Trady Ticks. All right. Well, we're going to give it a few more minutes here and call it a morning. What do you use to use Trady Ticks? Yeah, I use Trady Ticks. I love it. I've used Spot Gamma. Love them. They're great. I've tested out Trady Ticks. Love them too. So I would recommend both. Spot Gamma is definitely more tailored towards the more advanced trader, but Trady Ticks is fantastic. All right. Any questions before we wrap this up? Another 6 minutes here. Posted in the skiff. Yes. So yes, that you're starting to see a lot of signs of it. You're starting to see signs of positioning for this higher, closing out for lower. And the thing that I want to really highlight again is that it doesn't mean we can't go lower. It just means the risk is now pretty much gone for that style of trade. So I would look for, that obviously I'm making moves myself to account for that. Do puts here make sense? More so than down here. I'm looking to place a put at 424. I don't know if we're going to get up there. I got 75% of my port in bonds. Nice. I think it's a good play. $42.61. Tomorrow we have Microsoft and Google, otherwise known as Alphabet. So, what do we do tomorrow is the question. Let me take a look. we had a lot going on this weekend, so I made it a point to stay away from the computer this weekend. So I'll catch up on all my DMs after the stream this morning. Oh, yeah, good job, Kit. Thank you. Boeing on Wednesday. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. $42.60. Not the best day, but I was able to make some losses back with that call on 4260 push. Nice, McGurky. I find myself doing worse when I try to look at the bookmap sector's large holdings, but when I trade only on VPA and a quick look at the VIX, I do well. Seems like I get information overload trying to correlate everything. Not sure if it comes with time. Hey, I'm with you, man. Less is more. If you trade better on price action and VPA, to heck with everything else. Green back up. $4,264. Do you think I should sell some of my TMF for profit to be ready for lower? I I don't want to give too strong of a guidance on bonds. Here's what I'm going to say again on bonds is that the risk here is up. So I'm going to position my exposure into the bond market to account for the fact that I do think that we are coming up on the time where we're going to go higher, but there's still a lot of volatility and shakeout. And me knowing price action, it's not linear. Like things don't come down and bounce and go up. Things come down and they shake out everybody, and then they go up, which means that we could still go lower. In fact, I would say we probably will. So dollar cost averaging is in your best interest, in my opinion. That's what I'm going to say, especially if you're dealing with a triple leverage product. Putin heart attack news? Yeah, it was fake. Take that as a yes. Just be ready for anything. Trust me, when Twitter starts catching on to the rotation trade, then it's not going to be as easy as everyone thinks. 42.63. Well, I appreciate it, Vampire. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Michael Guyette is giving away the secret sauce to Twitter. He is. He is. My thought process is I love that dude's content, trust me, and I think he's very correct. But what happens like what are the market makers and the big guys who actually do run funds? I wonder if they see his stuff and be like, hey, oh, and they're just kind of like giggling about what's going to happen. Yeah, I can't imagine that, about the Putin stuff. I can't imagine that it wouldn't be all over every headline in the world if that was true. Watching the videos for me, it's like going to OM University. There you go. I love it. Do I think we're still in the AI trend? No. See, I think AI was the fuel for the blow off top in 23. That rally in 2023 was the final blow off top, in my opinion. And AI was used to fuel it. And I think that's done, in my opinion. And now it's about bonds and undoing all the damage that was caused in 2021. Your merch should just have your logo, and there you go beneath it. All right, I'm going to call that a morning. Honestly, it's we had a lot of chop intertwined with a lot of big pops here. Always amazing me how you already ran these scenarios in your head and have ideas, because it's all I think about, dude. I lay in bed thinking about what to do next and how to think and how to go about doing this. So yeah, appreciate y'all hanging out. Good job, Griffin. Portfolio hit an all-time high today. So get you some Taco Bell and celebrate. So appreciate y'all being here. Love y'all. Thanks for all the good questions, comments, interactions. Tomorrow we have Apple. Not Apple. I'm sorry. We have holy crap. What was it? Microsoft and Google. So keep an eye on that. It's going to be a crazy week. IV is still very high. VIX is still doing its thing, although it's down to 20 here. And we have liquidity up to 42.70. I'm going to look to possibly play a short off 424 on SPY until then. So y'all have a good rest of the day. Text me if you need, or DM me if you need anything. Don't text me. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out. See you.